Okay, what is going on, guys? So basically, I made an Instagram reel talking about how you can basically make up to $9,000 a month within like 3 years doing real estate. So if you haven't seen that, it's on my Instagram. You can definitely watch it. But here's another method that I wanted to discuss about that I'm actually going. I'll tell you the amount at the end of the video, how much money I'm putting in, just to test it, because I'm kind of curious. So quick backstory, buying a house, right? $400,000. I'll give you from the video. You buy a house 400,000, 20% down, that's 80,000. Then on average, that house appreciates 10 to 15% a year. So at that point, you made 40,000. Let's just take that 10%. Plus, you got renters that are paying you around $3,000 a month. So we're just gonna say like 3,200. So that's another $40,000. So you just made $80,000. Plus, you already have 80 in it. So that's 160. Cash out, refinance 80. Put it into the next house 1 year later, and then you just rinse and repeat, obviously. So that's kind of how that was. That's a super quick breakdown, super easy, like without repairs, without yada, 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 paying this. But that's just a quick method, quick breakdown. I have the long explanation up on Instagram. But today I want to talk about basically kind of a real estate fund, right? So there's a lot out there. There's Fundrise. I use that. I literally made that back in like 2017 or 2016. I put literally $1,000 into it. And since then, I just kept $100 a month has just been going into it. It's doing pretty well. I'm almost at like $20,000 now or something, which is super nice. So, obviously I've put money into it, so you can't, justify that. But today I'm talking about the Grant Cardone method, especially now. A video popped up about an hour long, and I decided to watch it because the more knowledge the better. And it said how to get started with $1,000 or what you should do. So since that video, that was about 7 months ago, so it's already changed actually. So now the minimum to invest is $5,000. But I'm going to be talking about, right, what are you actually going to get out of $5,000 from the Grant Cardone fund? So there was a guy, he called in, asked a simple question, because they don't have this on their website, right? You can't do the calculations on their website unless you speak with their representative, because then they obviously want to try to sell you on the phone. A couple years ago, took some of T.Y.E's courses, right? They had like a huge package, 5 courses for like $500 plus free tickets to the 10X Growth Conference. So I bought that. This was in like 2018. But again, then a week later they called me, and which part is, I was literally just so annoyed because I was trying to eat my lunch. I just said yes, and then like 2 days later I called back. I'm like, yo, dude, I don't want this. Give me my money back. And then they made like 20 different excuses, but since I actually had time to focus, yeah. So $25,000. So what would his monthly cash flow have been? His monthly or yearly cash flow, so which he would have been paid out basically every quarter. So 3 times in that year, he would get between $1,000 and $1,500. This is what Grant said himself. You guys can watch the video. It's about 20 minutes into it. So from that point on, you would then have a $75,000 to $100,000 position from your 25 because they leverage it, obviously, make more money. So each year you would be getting, with your 25,000 investment, you'd be getting about $1,000 to $1,500 plus your position of 75 to 100,000. So now some of us don't have $25,000 to invest, and honestly, quite frankly, some of us don't want to. Makes sense. It's kind of a weird thing. And honestly, personally, for me, $25,000, again, knowing I do my own rentals, I would much rather do that. Save up another 80, put it in, or just do flips, to be honest with you, in that sense. So $5,000, what would that get you? Minimum investment required. So $5,000, so, we're taking that $25,000 number, so I did some maths, quick maths. So you'd get $200 to $300 every single year, which again is not bad. So about $100 every quarter, a little less. And then from that point, your 5K position would be $15,000 to $20,000 position. So now on their website, it clearly states their plan is to hold it for 10 years. Now, here's the kind of tricky part, in a sense. If they don't want to sell within 10 years, they don't have to. If they want to sell early, they can also do that. It does not matter. You don't really get a say. If you're like, hey, I want to pull out within 2 years, they can honestly say no. That's kind of the thing here. They can say no. So unlike Fundrise can still say no, but you at least have the option, and you're more likely to do it at Fundrise where you can pull out, right? with Cardone Capital, if they kind of just say no, it's a no, right? If they want to hold that building for longer than 10 years, but you were like wanting to just do this for 10 years because it would line up perfectly with your retirement, line up perfectly to pay off your home, line up perfectly for you to then use that money to buy a home or whatever you wanted to do, or take that big trip. If they're like, no, we want to hold for another 10 years, guess what? You're not going to be like, would you like to renew? You're just not going to get your money. So that's a big factor that I think people need to look out for. But basically, if you start from the first day up until the last day and they literally hold it for 10 years, all of his properties are known as 10x properties. So this is kind of where it gets interesting because when you do the math, it kind of lines up almost perfectly. So if we take that original $5,000 and then we reinvest I did the highest option possible because it gets it to the numbers out, makes better title for this video, if that makes sense, whatever. And I think Grant does the exact same thing. So you would basically reinvest that $300 every single quarter for 10 years, right? And then basically at the end of that, you would have $26,318.90. Now, your leverage position of that $5,000 is between $15,000 to $20,000. So you would basically have between $41,000 to $46,000 at the end of 10 years. Now remember, we started with $50,000. Now on his website, it says like a lot have appreciated more, or a lot have cash flowed more than the 4% that they shoot for. So when I took that into account, almost to the dollar, it got to $50,002.40, right? So I found that super interesting because theoretically at that point, that is a 10x in 10 years, right? So if you wanted to plan it that way, you put in $100,000 and within 10 years, you would have $1 million. Now, here's the thing. If I were to do this math, and I would not use Grant's fund, right? And I have $100,000. Actually, let's just say I have $80,000, right? Here's the thing. I already did this. This is what I was talking about on the Instagram reel. But simple math. So if I take away the current property and my New York property, so I would subtract basically 2.5 from my number, I would have $5.8 million of a real estate net worth. Just real estate alone, 5.8 million. Because right now, that was kind of if I were to continue, again, it's on the Instagram video, but anyways, if you were to do the rental single family 3-bed 2-bath business, right, you would be looking at a net worth of between $5 to $10 million within 10 years in real estate if you were to just cash out, refinance every single year, cash out, refinance, use that money from one property to the next, to the next, to the next, without you saving any money, right? And that would just be with an $80,000 investment. Now, if you wanted to do 100, you could even do it a lot faster, to be honest. So is this the better option than doing it yourself? No. Is this a less risky option? Actually, no, it's not. The risk here involved is that you don't really have a say over your money. This is just the lazier option, to put it into simple terms. You put in $5,000, whoop-de-dando, and within 10 years, you're hoping you can cash out and you have a 10x return. So your $5,000 would be $50,000. This is kind of what I think he relies on, is just the laziness of people not really wanting to do much and finding a simpler path. But look, guys, don't forget they also take a management fee of 20% on top of that. So be aware of this. Now, I am going to put $5,000 into it. I've created my account and I'm going to be sending the wire within the next 24 to 48 hours here, just to kind of test it and, make follow-up videos, because it does interest me. Honestly, a lazier option. At the end of the day, that $5,000, if it's in my bank account or if it's in Cardone Capital, it does not matter to me too much. But at the end of the day, right, if I were, again, getting started, or if I were to do this about 2 years ago, when I did sold with the single family real estate, I would be, that $5,000 I would have saved, I would continue to save that until I got to around that $80,000 mark to buy that first single family home. And the only reason I had to do 80, again, was due to the fact that for me, FHA loan and all that wasn't really an option. So I used 20% down. So again, you guys can get away with a 3.5. So then that $5,000 would definitely be one more spent at around a, if you do a $350,000 house, you're looking at like $12,000 for a down payment. So again, it is your call, guys. I just want to make this video, inform you, kind of take the information from the website and words like Grant has said himself to give you an idea. Again, is it a good option? I'm gonna find out. I think it's the super easy and super lazy option in order to get really good returns. This is kind of like a stock market. You're basically investing in a stock, in my head at least. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, sub. If you got any questions, hit me up on Instagram. Also hit that Instagram follow button, just because I post like 3 to 4 reels a day. Some are business and some are just funny dog videos. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Peace out, guys.